Every year after age 60, you lose about 1% of your muscle strength, and most people have no idea it's happening. Sarcopenia chips away at independence and nearly doubles your risk of serious falls. Yet, new evidence from Harvard and the NIH proves 3 simple daily habits can actually reverse this decline. Why did decades of advice miss the mark? And what are the habits you need to know now? For decades, the standard advice for protein intake in older adults has been to follow the recommended dietary allowance: 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight each day. This guideline, set in the 1940s and reaffirmed for the general population, was never designed for people over 60. As the body ages, it becomes less responsive to the muscle-building effects of protein, a phenomenon researchers call anabolic resistance. This means that the same breakfast that once maintained muscle in your 30s now falls short in your 70s. Clinical studies reveal that even when older adults meet the RDA, their muscles often remain in a low-grade breakdown state, unable to rebuild efficiently. The result is a slow, invisible loss of strength and function. Margaret, a retired teacher in her 70s, remembers hearing those numbers at her last checkup and feeling reassured, until her doctor explained that the RDA is a minimum to prevent deficiency, not enough to maintain independence. The evidence is clear. Aging muscles require more than the old standard. Without enough high-quality protein, the body's ability to repair and preserve muscle slips away, year after year. This gap between outdated guidelines and the real needs of older adults leaves millions vulnerable to weakness and frailty, even if they believe they're eating enough. A single breakfast can set the tone for muscle health all day. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrates that older adults need about 30 grams of high-quality protein in one meal to trigger the muscle-building response. This is not a vague target. It's a precise threshold. Margaret, now aware of the science, starts her morning with purpose. 3 scrambled eggs alongside a cup of Greek yogurt deliver over 30 grams of protein, enough to meet the per meal requirement. Another option: 4 ounces of lean turkey breast on whole grain toast. For those who prefer dairy, 1 cup of cottage cheese with a small handful of almonds also reaches the mark. The goal is not bulk or excess, but a steady signal to the muscles to repair and grow. Variety matters. Some days, Margaret blends protein powder into her oatmeal, stirring in peanut butter for flavor and extra protein. The key is consistency, making this 30-gram breakfast a daily habit, not an occasional effort. For anyone with kidney disease or complex medical issues, it's important to check with a clinician before increasing protein. Most older adults, however, can safely benefit from this approach. A strong breakfast, rich in protein, is the first step in reclaiming muscle strength, 1 plate at a time. After breakfast, the body enters a unique metabolic state. Amino acids from protein-rich foods begin circulating in the bloodstream, ready to be delivered to muscle tissue. Scientists have found that this is not just a passive process. In older adults, the window right after eating is when muscles are most sensitive to nutrients, if the right signals are present. One of those signals is movement. A clinical trial published in The Gerontologist observed older adults who performed light activity 15 to 30 minutes after their largest meal. The results showed a measurable increase in the delivery of amino acids to muscle cells compared to those who remained seated. The explanation lies in muscle blood flow. When you move, even gently, blood is directed toward working muscles. This surge acts like a delivery service, bringing protein-building blocks exactly where they're needed for repair and growth. Margaret, after finishing her 30-gram protein breakfast, sits by her window with her tea. She's learned that sitting too long after eating means her muscles miss out on this prime opportunity. Instead, a few minutes of easy movement, standing hip circles, slow marches in place, can make the difference between nutrients being stored as fat or used to rebuild strength. This effect is not limited to athletes or those in perfect health. The gerontologist trial included participants in their 70s and 80s, many with limited mobility. Even small bursts of activity improved muscle nutrient uptake and helped regulate post-meal blood sugar. The science is clear. Timing matters. Movement soon after eating transforms a meal from simple fuel into a powerful tool for maintaining independence. 10 minutes can change the fate of aging muscle. After breakfast, Margaret stands up from her kitchen chair, sets a timer on her phone, and begins her daily movement routine. This isn't exercise in the traditional sense. No gym clothes, no equipment, no racing pulse. The goal is gentle, steady movement that fits into the morning, right in the living room. She starts with seated marches, sitting tall in a sturdy chair. She lifts one knee, then the other, as if marching in place. The motion is slow and controlled, arms swinging gently at her sides. After a minute or two, she transitions to standing hip circles, holding the back of the chair for support. Each circle is deliberate, loosening the hips and engaging core muscles. If balance is a concern, the counter or a wall provides extra security. The timer ticks down as she cycles through these movements, never straining, always listening to her body. The science behind this routine is clear. Even 5 to 10 minutes of light movement after a meal is enough to boost blood flow to the muscles and help shuttle nutrients where they're needed most. There's no minimum level of fitness required, just the willingness to move. For those with limited mobility, the entire session can be done seated, focusing on leg lifts, ankle circles, or gentle arm raises. The key is consistency, not intensity. Margaret finishes her routine as the timer chimes. She feels more awake, her muscles subtly activated, and her breakfast is already working for her. This daily 10-minute habit, done safely with household support, is a proven prescription for protecting muscle and independence, one morning at a time. Margaret always believed that real progress meant pushing herself, lifting heavier weights, sweating through long sessions, following the old advice that only hard work counted. But recent data from leading aging centers challenge this idea. In studies tracking muscle strength and daily habits in adults over 65, the pattern is clear. The people who move their bodies often, even with light resistance, maintain more strength than those who focus on occasional strenuous workouts. A review of over 1,000 older adults found that missing regular activity, falling short of 150 minutes a week, raises the risk of muscle loss by more than 5 times. Yet those who fit in short, manageable sessions each day, even just using body weight or light bands, preserve muscle and function longer. The Harvard Geriatric Guidelines now recommend daily, low-force resistance over sporadic intensity. Margaret, surprised by this evidence, starts to see that it's not about exhausting effort, but about showing up for her muscles every day. Consistency, not intensity, is the predictor of independence as we age. 2 15-minute sessions a day. This is the micro-dose routine that keeps muscle fibers engaged without demanding exhaustion. Margaret uses a simple resistance band she found in her drawer. Sitting tall in her chair, she wraps the band under her feet and begins gentle bicep curls. But there's a twist. As she lifts and lowers, she counts backward from 50, naming a fruit with each even number. This combination of movement and mental challenge is not just for variety. Dual-task routines have been shown to activate more muscle fibers and strengthen neural pathways. Studies using EMG reveal that adding a cognitive task, even something as basic as counting or naming animals, sends a stronger recruitment signal from brain to muscle. Over weeks, this practice improves both strength and executive function, 2 pillars of independence. The checklist is simple. 2 sets of upper and lower body exercises paired with a mental task every day. No gym, no trainer, just a chair, a band, and a list of categories or numbers to keep the mind as active as the body. Muscle strength in older adults declines by about 1% each year, a fact tied to increased fall risk and loss of independence. Decades of research from Harvard, the NIH, and peer-reviewed journals reveal 3 daily habits that can slow or even reverse this trend. 30 grams of high-quality protein at breakfast, light movement 15 to 30 minutes after the largest meal, and 2 daily sessions of low-force resistance combined with a cognitive task. These protocols are supported by clinical trials, including those published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition and the Gerontologist. However, questions remain about the optimal protein source and whether these habits benefit all older adults equally. Despite these gaps, current evidence shows that small, daily actions, not drastic routines, offer the greatest protection against sarcopenia. The documented impact is clear. Daily habits, grounded in research, can help preserve strength and independence as we age.